Welcome, baseball fans, to another edition of Beyond the Ballpark, a helpful guide to Omaha this summer. I'm Kristyna with Hurrdat One, joined for this episode by two talented experts in all things Men's College World Series and general hustlers for Hurrdat Sports. Welcome to the mic, Anna Bellinghausen and Avarie Howard. Thanks, guys, for being here with me today.
Absolutely.
To talk about everything for,
Seriously.
it's our favorite topic of the summer, of course. But let me brag on you just a little bit. We know millions of people saw or listened to or came into contact with your Men's College World Series coverage last year. And what you do continues to grow and resonate with people. But I wonder if off the top of your head, if you recall how many years you've been covering the series. Do you recall?
You can start. Mine was from freshman year of college.
Wow.
So, but we had a couple years in between because obviously one was canceled and then one we just didn't end up getting credentialed at because of all the COVID restrictions the year after. So I think this will be my fifth. This will be my fifth.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Avarie?
I had an opportunity with our radio station in college to do a few games after my senior year. So I was kind of their make good because we didn't get those credentials. So even though we graduated, they're like, here, you guys can have this summer. So I got to do a few games, but I really got my first taste 2 years ago. So this is technically my third College World Series, but the last 2 years
This might be my fourth too. I think I did my math wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think I've only been at one more before you.
Yeah. Either way, the last 2 years that we worked with D1, one starting with Hurrdat Sports, it's just been full in. You're there the whole whatever it is, 15 days. And
the entire time. Yes,
but it's great.
There's no halfway doing it. And it was unfair that I asked you to sit down and do math right away too.
Yeah, that was
backwards. I know. I'm sorry.
Especially with the COVID years in it. Oh my gosh.
I know. The rest of the questions will be much easier.
I think it's four. Yeah. Okay.
That's why we talk sports.
Exactly. We'll keep the rest of sports no more, nothing else math lateral. So yeah, let's just jump right in. You know, I think the thing that we hope to discuss this episode was really what does make the Men's College World Series so unique, and give some perspective to folks who maybe if they've never been to Omaha before or never been to the series, but maybe give people a lay of the land. Tell us a little bit how the Men's College World Series works when it kicks off on that Friday.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the opening ceremony day, which essentially is open practices. I know they don't really have a public display of an opening ceremony anymore. They kind of took that away just with respecting the players' time and whatnot. They used to do like the parade and everything and a concert and fireworks and all that stuff, but I know they've kind of gone away from that, but it's still a great setup for the entire tournament because you get to see every single team practice on that first day. And that's our busiest day because it's also the media day for us too.
So every single team.
Yeah, we're talking to all 8 teams. We're talking to countless players, coaches. We're hearing so many different things and getting a ton of content out that day. But in a fan perspective, that's a really awesome day to like just go see the ballpark, especially if you're in Omaha for the first time. Go to opening day. It's all free. You get to watch every team practice. That's all the guys are out signing autographs, hanging out. Like, it's a very chill environment. Everyone's happy because no one's lost.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best part of it, probably.
Yeah, loose, energetic vibes for sure. I just think the thing that makes it so special is rarely in any other sport you have that many teams that are competing on the same site. Yes, we see that for softball, but just what Omaha does to rally around these 8 teams and having 8 diehard fan bases all in the same location and the way that the city just really like elevates to those 2 weeks. I think that's the coolest thing. And I think people that aren't from here or if they haven't attended before, I think that's what surprises them the most is just like, one, the display of talent they're watching on the field, but just 2, you're surrounded by such culture and tradition every day. Whether, you know, LSU might not be here, but their fans are tailgating out there. I think just people have gravitated towards Omaha because of how special those 2 weeks are and how much, I mean, that's the only thing happening in Omaha those 2 weeks. And so to come and experience that, I think is probably what's some of the coolest experiences that nothing else really matters except for college baseball. You don't really have that a lot of places.
And the nightlife, we go from Omaha, Nebraska to Las Vegas overnight essentially.
Truly, yes.
It becomes the best spot to go out with your friends and just like have a good time, whether you like baseball or not.
Sure.
Honestly, you don't even have to watch a second of a game. You can still experience just the atmosphere downtown is unreal.
Yeah.
Just with the old mat and what they put on with the baseball village with their stage and which kicks off on opening night too. So they open it then. And then obviously after every game, they have their concert set back up and after the final out, they start playing music. Like, it is awesome. And people are just standing there waiting for the last out. They don't care about the score. They're just waiting for the DJ to get on and like music to play and stuff. But that's the cool part about it, is it just brings people together, whether you like sports or you don't, or you're a diehard fan and you traveled 1,000 miles from wherever to be here. It's unlike anything else.
Yeah. And a unique opportunity to meet people from all over in your hometown, right? All you have to do is venture downtown and you're going to meet, fans from Louisiana.
Lots of accents.
People, exactly. Yeah, the SEC is fully in town for that event, which makes it, like you said, such a just an unusual experience that we get to have here in Omaha. What about the structure of the tournament itself? Help people understand, it's double elimination, there's a bracket format, then best of 3 finals, all those things that contribute into helping the game and championship continue onwards throughout those 2 weeks.
Well, the fact that I think all the games every single day are at the same time is helpful just for fans to know, like, no matter what, there's a game at 1, there's a game at 6, whether you're there for your team or someone else. That also gives people a pretty good runway. I think before every game, 1 o'clock it's not 11 o'clock, it's not 10 o'clock. So 1, people are able to set up and tailgate. 2, you're able to go around Baseball Village, do whatever you need to do, go to Rocco's, Lefties, whatever it is beforehand, get your peeps together before you get into the stadium. Yeah. And then I think, just the atmosphere even, 1 o'clock is still a great time. Everyone's there. Everyone is only there for baseball, but the night game I think is just, it's really hard to beat. The weather, even if it's hot during the day, the temperatures cool down. Yes. More people start to gravitate towards downtown. So I think the scheduling of having it every single day, 1 and 6, I don't know why that I find that so helpful. Like, I'm not having to leave, especially from a working perspective, but I'm not leaving that 6 o'clock game being like, oh gosh, I got to get up and we're at this time tomorrow. And I think fans feel similarly too, whether they're in town, like I said, as a fan base or just coming in town to watch baseball. Yeah. They know I can catch this many games or we can do this until this amount of time. So I think the structure in terms of that is really helpful.
And it's good too, because if you're traveling in, your team's going to at least play twice.
Yep. Yes.
So you're not just making the trip to Omaha to see one game and potentially go home on the first night. You can spend the weekend. So you can come on the Thursday, hit the opening ceremony, and then go to the Friday, Saturday game at least, depending on if you win or lose. You might have to wait till Sunday, but even better, you get more time. Totally. But it is nice also if your team wins, then you get a day off in between too, and then you can go to the zoo, you can go sightsee, you can go walk the bridge, you can try our amazing restaurants. There's so many different things to do in the middle of that too. You can even go to the local high school or university. I know some practice at UNO. You can watch your team practice too on the off day. So even if you want to be so baseball centered, you can go do that. You can hang out, do whatever. But so double elimination I think is really awesome just for the fact people are probably traveling pretty far to get here. Yeah. And then so you got to lose twice to be completely out, and then best of 3 series starts. What day does it start? Monday?
Or Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
But best of 3 I think is a great format too, because nobody wants just to see a one and done baseball game. You have to do a best of 3. So it's great.
And it gives, to your point, teams have had long seasons. They've traveled a long way to be there. It does give them the best chance to continue to stay and play and give their fans a little more time to enjoy Omaha and enjoy the series too. Talk to me about you have both experience in covering collegiate sports as well as Major League Baseball. What do you find to be the difference of the energy in the crowd, the traditions, the student sections, just the general energy or atmosphere that draws a line between those two experiences?
Yeah, I think it is the tradition. You kind of nailed that one there, just because, yes, there is money involved in collegiate athletics these days, but there's such a pride in wearing the jersey and whatever's in the front of that jersey. And I know we get a lot of SEC teams that come here, and so there's a lot of that rivalry a little bit too, which is always an added flair. But it's just there's something about college sports in general that I think you hit a tad bit more of that pride than you do in a professional setting. And so to watch these kids, and I think even just the level of baseball that the game has evolved to, some of the baseball we've witnessed in the last few years has just been off the charts. I think, the Paul Skeens era that we watched that one year, it was just, you knew in the moment, I'm sitting here watching big leaguers and I get to watch them at a college level where they're playing for something that means more. Yeah. So getting to experience that. And then I think the coolest thing too is here locally, we're used to just a couple fan bases. We know the traditions, but to watch new fan bases come in and bring their own chants, bring their own superstitions, food, culture, like Anna said, the accents, it's just really fun to get a different taste of different parts of the country, what their sports look like there. So for us to be so centrally located and for people to come from all over, and we're just from here. So it's just nice to be like, okay, tell us more about where you're from and just get to experience it in the way that these kids play baseball, experience it from the fan base perspective. I think that's what makes it really cool. And it's like I said, it's really hard to get that in a professional setting. And once again, we also don't have a lot of settings where you get 8 professional teams in one city, right? To have that much culture in one spot and just, the tradition is just, it's really cool to experience.
Yeah. Also part of the atmosphere, I think, can be contributed to the fact that you have, like you said, students playing here too, where some of them are going to have their last hurrah. Some of them, are celebrating their senior year or, heartbreaks that they've had throughout the year, Cinderella runs, all these things that you can only really find in a college setting too.
I think it's fun because if you go down the list of most outstanding players of the College World Series, those aren't necessarily the biggest stars in Major League Baseball right now, but they get their time to shine here at the College World Series, and maybe we'll never hear their name again, but they will always be a star in Omaha. They'll always be remembered for what they did here. So I think, like you said, you can go out with, one last season here in Omaha, and we've had so many amazing teams. I think back to like Coastal Carolina, even Ole Miss really winning and being one of the last teams in the field of 64 and pulling off that national championship. But I think that's the fun part is seeing the unlikely stars shine too, when it might be a pitcher or a player that steps up in a big moment that we they don't get the national coverage throughout the whole year as much, but you're on ESPN, you're in front of everybody here in Omaha, and like you can make a name for yourself real quick.
And I think because the location has never changed for this, this is truly a dream that's planted in so many kids' minds for so long. And as you're talking about that, I'm thinking of Cade Beloso from LSU 2 years ago, talking to him. It was funny because I was sitting in the press conference room and it's media day, so you don't really know which teams are coming in and out. But I heard one kid say, I always told myself I would never come here as a fan. I would only come here as a player. And so I sprinted out of the room and I looked out and I was like, who just said that? Because I need to talk to him about that. Well, of course, comes to an elimination game, and I can't remember exactly who, it might have been against Wake Forest, who they beat to go to the finals. And I asked him about it, and I said, why was that so important for you to be from, Baton Rouge, to play for LSU, but then why would you never come here as a fan, only as a player? And as I asked him that, he was like, oh my gosh, I have chills, because that's just how much it means to come and play here. And I think that's why the tradition of this place, and like you said, he didn't go on to do anything afterwards. His career was over, but that was his, he had a huge tournament. He's a national champion. Like no one can ever take that from him. But for his entire career, he's like, I want to play in Omaha, but I won't go as a fan because I know it'll break my heart that I didn't get to have the opportunity as a player. And so that's just how special this kind of tournament is and this place is. And I think it's really cool, like you said, to experience those. But on the flip side, you do have these generational players where you're like, I didn't even come to watch you. I came to watch my team make it for the World Series for the first time, but I'm getting to watch someone that might be in the league for who knows how long, So you get all kinds of stories, and I think that's what makes it really special too.
Good mix.
And Hurrdat Sports does an excellent job, I think, of finding those little stories within the story too. The bigger story, of course, being the Men's College World Series, but you have eyes and ears on the ground, and you become attuned to just some of those really special moments that help better tell the story of the Men's College World Series. And to your point, when we have Cinderella teams, Omaha residents have season tickets, whether we have a dog in the fight or not. So with that opportunity, we get to learn some of those traditions, like you said, participate in the call and response, and then, of course, all the traditions that happen in the outfield. So, you're exactly right. Inside and outside of the stadium.
No more beach balls, though.
Listen, they'll take those beach balls away with the quickness. They sure will. And then they have a quick demise right in front of your very eyes. So I'd ask you both, too, what's one thing that always surprises first-timers about the Men's College World Series experience? Or what have you heard as far as feedback with that?
Honestly, when I talk to players, they're like, okay, it's not just corn here. And they're confused that we have a nice city and there's amazing restaurants and hotels.
This is always the go-to with Omaha surprise. Maybe we should just stay a best kept secret. I don't know.
No, I know. And so everyone's figuring out about Omaha, whether they like it or not. But every review I've heard it's been glowing about Omaha, and just I think what stands out a lot to people is just the Midwest nice and how kind and welcoming we are here in Omaha, and how we truly do roll out the red carpet for all these teams, and they're like, whoa, this feels like a national championship. This feels we feel important here. So I think I would say that.
I think the funniest part about last year when we asked players about that is their response about being, there's like buildings here. Like I thought like the stadium's gonna be the only thing.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and I'm like, you guys
not be lower if you're surprised by our buildings.
This is why it was funny is you have teams, college teams where like
their college town is
their
smaller
college
than
town,
Omaha,
or even like the closest.
Like Baton Rouge is,
yes, and like Lexington, Kentucky. I'm like, what? I'm not sure what
Omaha
you guys
has more of a. See, this year I'm going to make them guess the population of Omaha and see what they have to say.
I'm eager to see what the response.
Our metro area is over 1 million now.
Yeah.
We've crossed 1 million. So,
but I do think like most people, if they're not players, I think they are just so surprised by truly how the city rallies around just this event, and so it makes everyone that comes here, not just the players, but the fan bases feel special because they're like, oh my gosh, like they're pouring everything into this. I'm not just coming to like one game and leaving. I'm going to the restaurant. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. I'm going to hang out afterwards. Like you don't want to leave that spot. Yeah. So I think that's what surprises people too. Like they hear about it, but it's a feeling that you get when you're down there. There's just something about it. There's
something
a buzz.
In the air.
There's people everywhere.
Yes, we learned about the sewer perfume.
They put perfume on the sewers to make them smell better. Yeah.
Well,
that's how in depth Omaha goes for this thing.
I was going to say,
crazy.
and also
who
some
found
of the
that
excellent coverage you're going to learn on your Beyond the Ballpark content.
Yes.
So you'll have to listen to it all to get all the insights.
You do listen to our previous episode and find out.
Yeah,
I meant to do that. I set you up.
Yeah, thanks.
They do. Yeah.
Nice little plug.
This is why you two work well together. Exactly. Yeah, you just one sets them up and the other knocks it out of the park. It works out perfect. And so something else I think we kind of touched on a little bit, but I'd like to chat about some Know Before You Go for Charles Schwab Field, just because you spent several years there recently for the Men's College World Series. Just do you have any recommendations on like best seats for if it's for shade or for foul ball chances, atmosphere? Where do you think you want to sit when you're in that stadium?
Well, if you want shade, obviously depends on if you're going for the day game. If you can sit behind home plate, those are probably the more expensive
a little bit higher
seats.
up,
But if you're just going for a game and you just want to get in and have fun, I think just get the outfield seats.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to wait in line for GA anymore.
Yeah.
So it's all reserved. So you can just pick your seat and go whenever, hang out before, do the Fan Fest, do all of that. Fan Fest is free. It's awesome every year. And then get to your seats. You don't have to wait in line, which I do appreciate that they changed that just so you're not, wasting your time waiting in line. Whereas you just, have a reserved seat.
Yeah.
But if you want the real nice experience, I would pick a shaded spot. So basically you'll see where the shade is behind home plate, but I wouldn't say it covers
No, I think
dugouts.
if you're high, like if you're a higher row up too on both
in that
baselines, usually you're okay too. I'm thinking back to this past weekend when we had a little bit of sunshine for the Big Ten championship. I remember seeing enough people actually in a shaded spot where I remember actually having an active thought. I'm like, wow, I don't think I realized that people get shade here. But if you're higher up, and so like to your point, yes, they might be kind of expensive, but you can also get a row higher up too.
Yes.
But also if you do buy a ticket in the outfield and you're like, okay, I'm dying out here a little bit, depending on what time of the day it is. They do have pretty decent areas where you can stand underneath the concourse where like there's like little walk up, almost like I want to say kind of like bars, like they're like little
rails,
little rails. And so if it's not too busy, it's a day game or something, you are more than welcome to stand there as long as you're not in the stairs blocking anyone. You're totally okay, and that's also where a lot of the concessions are anyway. So
also get a tan.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hang out in the outfield.
SPF,
true.
Yeah, bring sunscreen.
Totally be
bring sunscreen. Bring your water bottles.
And they let you bring a plastic water bottle that's empty.
Yeah.
So you can bring one in and fill it up.
Clear plastic, 20 ounces or less. Yes, bring it in empty, and there's plenty of water refill stations. You can't remind people enough of that. But speaking of that, hey, you set me up for my next question. Food and drink highlights. Do you have any go-tos that you recommend folks try?
Frozen lemonade. You got to get that.
Inside the stadium or outside? So inside is the frozen lemonade. Okay.
Yep. Inside, I'd say frozen lemonade.
Yeah, I think last year they actually had like a lemonade station in the outfield.
Freshly squeezed.
Oh, that's right. Which is always the best.
Oh my gosh, and it tastes so good when it's 100 degrees in there.
I know. And I also think last year they had, they always have like a few specialty items. I know one of them last year they had like a brisket nacho of sorts.
Yeah.
And then I always like the tachos. They have like
tachos are a big
nachos
for our staff. We have tacho runs.
Yeah,
because at some point we get sick of the medium meal. Right. We can only have it so many times.
Yeah,
so that's fair. Sometimes they have to repeat. It's totally fine, but we got to go out and venture in the concessions.
Have the ballpark food every once in a while. So that's always good. I'm trying to think of what else we've got. And you've got like the foot long, like
we
New
did
York
try
style hot dog one time.
I think you got to get it once. Yes, exactly.
I think they have corn dogs too, I want to say.
They really bump it up for the World Series.
They have mini donuts.
Yep.
Everyone loves the mini donuts.
The usuals, the cotton candy.
Yeah,
those
usuals.
kind of things.
For some reason, everyone does the chocolate covered strawberries on a stick, which I don't understand that because it's like gonna melt.
Yeah, those sell like gangbusters though.
Yeah, but I guess they're good.
Yeah,
so I must try them.
I've seen people do it at the Royals game too, and I'm like, I guess I'm not.
How
for
did
the
that
mess,
even come to be?
I don't know.
Love to hear more.
I don't,
Yeah.
you know, and I should know, having worked there for several years. But I don't know. I mean, maybe someday, at some point, somebody thought,
I'm craving a chocolate covered strawberry.
Or like, let's bump it up a little bit.
Gosh, okay.
Yeah.
Really elevate your time at the ballpark.
Yeah.
But what about outside? I know, because Zesto's right outside there, which
gotta hit Zesto's.
always has a line. Yep.
And I think a lot of people forget that the Blatt actually has food too.
Really
because
good
a lot
food.
of people like to go to the patio up top, which rightfully so. But they have really good food. So if you're able to park there before the game, great spot. You're walking distance. Don't worry about parking the car or whatever. You got to walk right across the street, which is great. Great food. I'm trying to think of
Rocco's Pizza's good.
Rocco's Pizza.
But anything in the baseball village that
Totally.
we got last year from the food trucks was amazing.
Oh, yeah, true.
We
Food
had
trucks
over there
we
too.
had really good
Local food trucks.
tacos in the food truck.
Yep. Mattress Factory, obviously.
Old Matt has good
which
food.
is a lot more space, so able to get more people in there, which is always nice.
Yep.
And then also, I think sometimes people are a little bit afraid to venture a little bit further away from.
There's also other amazing places.
And so if you want to be like, I don't know, not 30 seconds away, you can be about 5 minutes away. If you just go a few streets over, like your restaurants galore. I mean,
honestly, too, the old market, I feel like people think is really packed during this time, but it's honestly kind of slept on during the College World Series because everyone wants to be, you know, over 10th and Coming and 10th and Dodge or whatever. But if you go down a little bit to the old market, there's obviously amazing restaurants there too.
Totally.
And it's a great spot.
Yeah. Some of those places that I like to recommend if people are like tired of just being like right there, not having like some sort of like, you know, American food. I always tell people to go to Rally Coffee right there on the corner before.
Love Rally Coffee.
I
Great
love
recommendations.
it.
Yeah.
If you're, you know, up at them early, you're not ready to, you know, start the drinks. If you need a coffee first.
Get a coffee first.
Balance is important.
Yes.
Why'd you point at me during that?
If you need a coffee.
The Tito's lemonade at the Blatt is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, you're right. That is.
It's on tap there.
And it comes in those like steel,
they have
kind of
ranch
aluminum
waters
cups.
in those too.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Avery likes the ranch
I love a
waters.
ranch water.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also recommend
Drink
Hook and
responsibly.
Lime to people because that's a good spot. It's a little bit of a mix up. It's not, you know, and then a newer restaurant. It was here last summer, but it was pretty new. Memoir is
Memoir's fire.
down there, which is fantastic. Which is just like on the other side of things. Just take a little
Sips on 10th.
Sips on 10th is awesome. There's a Jay Gilbert's
breakfast.
connected to the hotel that a lot of them stay in. So there's a lot of. I mean, we're scratching the surface.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
Dan Hoppin's got all
I was going to
that.
say, and more Hurrdat One content for all the places you need to eat during the Men's College World Series.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There is this misconception that, as you said, that the old market is inaccessible during the College World Series. And it's actually quite the opposite. I think there's a... people either think, well, because there's crowds over here, I won't be able to get into a restaurant over there. Or if they're in West Omaha, they assume it'll be even more inundated.
Yes.
But
It's not.
for that
Not true.
reason, everybody kind of like misses out on the opportunity to explore one of our best gems in the city because they just haven't had the chance to sneak over there and see it. So if you have time, we always recommend to go see and participate in what they have going on over at the old market. But what about, getting back to the stadium, what about, do you have gate entry advice? Listen, you get over to gate 2 by the box office.
Yep.
It's slammed. Do you have any like secrets or hacks that you might
4.
share with people?
Gate 4.
Gate 4 is the best kept secret on earth, perhaps.
Truly.
Is that the one in the outfield?
That's the one in the outfield that nobody uses. It's
Yeah.
right next to FanFest too, so you can go through FanFest and get into Gate 4.
Yep.
And that's right where we enter as well as media.
Yep.
And whenever I walk by, I'm like, why isn't there a giant line?
There's
here?
nobody there. I
But
know.
people just see the first entrance and they're like, okay, whatever, I'll go to it. But it's literally a 2-minute walk. Go to Gate 4 and get in way
Especially
easier.
if I think people forget this too. If you park in that lot right there, is that lot D? Yeah. If you park in lot D, the one that's close to CHI, you're closer to Gate 4. You don't have to walk all the way around the stadium.
Walk all the way around to the box
I don't
office
understand
area.
how it's not the busiest gate.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think people like love the statue.
True. People
so
wanna
they
go
want to
to the
go
front
see
of the
that.
stadium, see the
so maybe
statue.
go see that first, but doesn't mean to enter there.
Yeah. Just take your picture and then move along.
No, it's true. By the time you would
Gate 4.
have waited at the other busier gates, you could have taken a short walk over to Gate 4, which is very often you can just stroll right in. It seems.
Yeah. I'm always an advocate for getting there a tad bit earlier than what you think. I'm not like the crazy, like don't be like 45 minutes early, but like if you're there like a 25 minutes, 30 minutes early kind of thing, I think there's a lot of things that are actually really enjoyable within the ballpark. One, you get food without the lines, but two, they do a really great job of like the pregame videos and just some of the stuff you might not see. Like they do some player interviews on this big screen that they did on media day. They get you into the mood. They give you a little bit of information about the two teams. I mean, you never know what you're going to get for a national anthem. Those are always fantastic. Flyovers. Yeah, there's just a lot of traditions that you see from the players if you get there a little bit earlier. So one, you help yourself in line, you help yourself get food. And then there's just, like I said, there's a good amount of stuff going on in the stadium itself that I think makes it worth it too. So don't feel like you're going to go in there really early and just be sitting and waiting. There's always kind of something going on.
Yeah, you're right. The in-venue
program. They have a great
really
merch store too. Like if you want a collectible.
Or my next question was, where is the best place to find or look for merch?
Yeah, behind home plate they have a
in
really
stadium.
In stadium. Yeah, behind home plate they have a really good setup there with a ton of different collectible items. Like you can buy baseballs and like plaques of your team. And then obviously
a lot of your generic, just like College World Series stuff. Yeah. But if you go to Baseball Village itself, there's just a ton. I mean, just 10 after 10 after 10 of just, whether it's the shirt of the year, whatever that shirt.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah, the team slogan is, they'll have it. Baseballism is usually a really great truck. Yeah. They have a lot of just like evergreen baseball merch, basically. You don't have to wear just the World Series. You can wear it whenever, however you want to. But yeah, Baseball Village.
The Wilson store is cool to check out.
Yep, the Wilson store. So there, I mean, you walk through Baseball Village, you're going to find probably anything and everything you need.
And go early to those because everything gets picked over real quick.
I mean, fast. You're exactly right. And you're always amazed how many different words or mascots they can cram the word Omaha into.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They've got it covered.
Yeah. There is a hack though. If you are there in Omaha, like if you are just here for the College World Series, you're not connected or tied to a team. Let's say you have an affinity for a team while you're there though, and they get knocked out by chance. Those t-shirts will be like $10 for you.
Yep, sale time.
Unfortunately. But if you were like, you know what, they're not playing anymore, but I loved this player, I love this team, whatever, those shirts will be available and they will be discounted. But there's a lot of stuff by the end that you might not get your size perfectly, but there's a lot of discounted stuff that will still be hanging around. So if you don't find the first things you want those first couple days, don't be discouraged. You'll have lots of discounts.
There's
by the end
also
of the week.
like a ton of really cool vintage clothes at Baseball Village too. So it's more than just the teams that are there. So if you're just genuinely wanting to shop too, there's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, if you want South Carolina's win from 2010 or whatever, you can probably find that somewhere too.
They do. Yeah. Which is cool. To your point, maybe you're there as a diehard fan, but also just generally looking around, there's little treasures that you're going to find. Yes. Thank you so much, both of you, Avarie and Anna, for your knowledge on this episode. And again, a reminder that you'll be leading the Hurrdat Sports coverage of the Men's College World Series again this year, finding those unique stories that happen during the event, as well as covering your favorite teams, gameplay, everything in between. And your team does a truly exceptional job. So thank you again for your work. And I'm already excited to have you guys down there this year.
It's going to be a blast.
Series. It's going to be excellent. And remember to follow Beyond the Ballpark for all your Men's College World Series coverage, only on Hurrdat 1.